Cora, what's the name of the ice cream place?
Which one? You mean Stone Cold? The Stone Cold. That's what I call it. What's the name of it? The other Stone Cold place?
Yeah, what's the name of that pizza place?
That's the name of that place?
Stone Cold Pizza.
Yeah. Why are you laughing? Oh yeah, the Anthony Stone Cold Pizza place. That's it. Why you laugh? My name is Cora Mann, and I'm a detective here at the City of North Miami Beach Police Department. I've been here 28 years, since 1992. I know this sounds so cliche, but I really wanted to become a police officer to make a difference in the community that I lived in. Because when I grew up, I didn't see a lot of officer friends hanging around our communities, and I wanted to make a difference. I grew up in the city of Miami. I grew up, in Liberty City. I didn't see a lot of officers there making friends with people. I didn't really go outside a lot because my mom didn't allow us to hang outside. But when I did see the police, there was always something negative. It was always the police there because somebody was fighting or somebody may have got hurt or shot. And so I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to become a part of the community of being a police officer, to let people know that we do more than just come out when negative things happen to your life. I lived overseas for 9 years. I was in the military prior to coming here. I initially came to North Miami Beach because I saw an opening for a police communications officer. So I came here to fill out an application for a police communications officer. And once I did my application and passed the test, Detective Calvert, Jim Calvert, he's no longer with us, he called me back in and he said, hey, I see you have some, you're prior military. I said, yes. He says, would you think about being a reserve officer one day? I'm like, well, I don't know, because at the time I had an infant son. So I told him I don't know, I would have to think about it. It was not something that I grew up saying that I want to be a police officer. If anything, I thought I would be more like a social worker, because I've always liked to give back to the community and I've always liked to help others. And when I got the opportunity to become a police officer, I was really amazed. And I was more amazed when I graduated, because when I went into the police academy, my son was 9 months old. I had a husband. I worked full time for Miami-Dade Public Schools. And I was like, how in the world am I gonna do this 4 days a week and have all these other responsibilities? So just getting through the academy that 9 months was a whole lot blessing. I was so grateful for the support I had from my spouse and from my family, because without that I couldn't have been it. So the day of my graduation was October 15, 1992. Chief Berger came to my graduation, Chief Loaizo came to my graduation, and Major Ribble. And they all came and they offered me a job on the spot. But I told them that I needed to give the school board at least 2 weeks notice, because they were so grateful and so kind with me when I was going through the academy. So I had this idea that police officers did chases and, we caught the bad guys and then we helped people out if they needed help. You got the TV version of being a police officer. But becoming an officer gave me the realization that it was totally different. You weren't allowed to be doing all them high-speed chases without getting in trouble. Of course, there's accountability. So, I couldn't do all that and not get in trouble. After I finished my 4 months of training, they asked me to go into community policing, which is a specialized unit. And I was like, wow, how am I gonna go in community policing? I don't even know my job as a cop. So I told them no, because my senior training officer, which was Officer Kenny Fight, he told me, Corey, don't go into any specialized units until after you get off probation. So I followed his orders and I did that. I waited. I loved community policing. I think community policing is one of the best secrets here in this police department. They assigned me to the Washington Park community, because at that time, Washington Park was our predominantly African-American community. And I think that the community wanted an African-American police officer in that community. So here come me, straight off the block. Okay, Chief Berger, when I got into Washington Park, he always told me that I was gonna be the chief in my own little community. He said that my job was to learn the community, find out about the community, what their needs were, what their weaknesses were, find out about the people in the community, find out about the drug activities in the community, find out about the positive activities in the community. He wanted me to absorb myself and become a part of that community. And I followed those instructions so well. And I was able to help other units when I was in Washington Park with drugs things, burglaries, whatever they needed, because I knew who the players were. And that was so important for the Chief Burger and Chief Loaizo to know who all the important players were in that park, because they called me for everything. And I enjoyed my job. I love watching them run. So before I became a detective, I was a DARE officer. I became a DARE officer in February 1995. DARE was a 17-week program that we taught kids about drugs abuse and also about gang activities, about not becoming involved. We got to go there and interact with the kids every week, interact with the staff, and also with the parents. And after 17 weeks, we had a graduation, a culmination of what all we have taught the kids, and that was like everlasting connection with the kids in the community. I was a part of DARE for 10 years, from 1995 to 2005. Even as an investigative detective, they allowed me to go one semester to teach a class and keep my DARE certification. I worked sexual battery, domestic violence, special victims crimes. I did that for 8 years. I love what I did to help my victims out, to get a prosecution. So everyone called me like the sexual battery detective, 33 detective, because I just started taking all kind of training, all the classes I could to find out more about becoming a better detective. Dealing with children's crimes always tear your heart out, because you always empathize with the family, because I don't know if I could have been that parent to report someone abusing my child. So I always was trying to be there to hold their hand. I'm also a part of Safe Space Foundation, and we help women, men, and children that are victims of domestic violence and also now sexual batteries. And because of my association with Safe Space, we started a walk, a domestic violence walk here in the city of North Miami Beach. We started that 12 years ago, and we started to bring awareness to domestic violence and also raise funds for victims of domestic violence. But all of the donations that we raised went to Safe Space Foundation so that we can give money to the victims for housing, for cars, for emergency money, whatever they needed, and they didn't have to go through so much red tape with Miami-Dade County. Domestic violence is near and dear to my heart, because we see it every day in our walks of life, regardless of who you are, economical backgrounds or religious faith or your race. Domestic violence is everywhere. And I would like for everyone to just be more aware of these situations that goes on, and just to reach out to get help for the people. And every year in the Domestic Violence Walk, I'm always the MC, and I always get to act out, and that's been one of my highlights, just to be there for the community and just to lead them in this fight to help eradicate domestic violence. I've always been a part of kids in this community. I've always been a mentor since I came to this community, because being from the African American community, once you become a police officer, everybody looks to you to be a mentor, to make a difference, to help up the little ones who's coming up behind you. So I've always taken that role very seriously as being a role model to others. Before we even had Police Athletic League, PAL, we had what we call an NFL, the Neighborhood Football League. And the Neighborhood Football League, we started that back in 1995, and because we felt the need that the kids needed an outlet, they needed something else besides hanging on the streets when school was not in session. The kids in our community, they need us as police officers. They don't only need us when we come to their homes because somebody committed a crime or something happened. They need us to become a part of their lives. They need to know us as police officers, as human beings, that we are human. One of the most profound things to me was one day I saw one of our PAL Pro kids at the time, Neighborhood Football League kids, at the movie theater and having a tour with my family. And the young girl came up to me, she said, "Oh, Detective Mann, I didn't know you had a family." I said, "What do you mean you didn't know I had a family?" I didn't know you had a husband and a child." I said, "Yes, I'm the same like your mom, with a husband and a child and a family. Only thing, I wear a uniform to work. And I chose to be a police officer to serve my community." And so it's important that they know us more than just this police uniform and just a cop. It's okay to give yourself and to share with these kids in the community, because this is our future. I remember one day, Detective Moore and I was at Chipotle, and we saw, he wasn't an officer then, we saw Detective Winchester, and he was a civilian, and he said to me, "Detective Mann, I put in to be a community service officer, a CSO for North Miami Beach. I said, you did? He said, yes. I said, oh my God, I didn't even know that. He said, you know, I want to be a police officer one day too. I said, no. He said, you know, I wanted to do that because of you, you know, because he grew up in Washington Park community. He said, because of you always made a big difference in my life. I know you didn't know that. And he had already been a college grad, and he shared that with me. And I was like, oh my goodness. So you never know, you know, you do make a difference in these kids' life. So I encourage everybody to get involved in the community, especially these children, because they need us. You know, the Honor Guard, we pay respects to our fallen officers. We go around the state of Florida. I've also had opportunity to go outside of the state of Florida to represent North Miami Beach, to show them that we all brothers and sisters in blue and we all bleed blue. I am the senior member of the Honor Guard, and I still like doing the Honor Guard for Memorial Day, also Veterans Day. Even to this day, if they need someone to go out of town to represent North Miami Beach for a fallen officer, I'm always the first one to raise my hand to go, because I take it seriously, because it means a lot to families that we don't even realize, because I've gotten emails and letters from families just to say thank you for taking the time to come. One of the best units that I've joined. I enjoy the Honor Guard. I like what it stands for, honor, integrity, and pride. And I want you all to take that pride and integrity with you. You know, wherever you go, you know, represent North Miami Beach well and represent yourselves well. We're doing this because we want to show respect to those who've lost their lives and also show respect for the past. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this unit.
Thank you.
Longest member I am.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm a bag of water. You're gonna make me start crying. I just try to be involved in everything I could that could be better for the community and better for this agency. And I would tell any officer who comes in our North Miami Beach Police Department or any agency to be a cop, make sure this is where your heart is at, because we don't do this because we're trying to get rich, because we'll never get rich doing this, but we gotta have a heart for what we do. And we have to be able to empathize with other people in other cultures. And we have to be able to put our own personal self aside to just take somebody else on and somebody else is some problem and make it our own temporarily. But more importantly, we have to know how to take a breather when all of this is said and done. You know, I've been in so many homicides, so many sexual batteries, and my faith is so strong. I pray the whole way home, the whole way back, because I say I want to leave this in my car, because I don't want to take it home with me, because that's when we start having problems of our own. And know when things get too much for you with this job, because of so much we see that's negative, be able to have the courage to reach out and ask for help when we need it, because that's very important. I am going to be around NMB for reserve until I find something else to do, because I do plan on continue to work. I never like to say bye. I always say see you later. Bye is too final. I will see each and every one of you later. Our paths will meet again. I'm going to always have something positive and encouraging to say to you, because that's just who I am. And like we always say, I'll see you later, guys. And guys, take care of each other and stay safe.
Here we are again. Except this is a little more of a somber moment, but a happy moment too for Cora. After 28 years?
Yes, sir.
28 years. You're just a rookie. You're quitting on us. After 28 years, Cora has decided to retire due to something called the drop.
Right.
Which one of you 6 out there are lucky that she's leaving early. Otherwise, you'll still be in the waiting line. So you owe her a lot. But we owe her all a lot. Cora has been instrumental here for 28 years. I know when I came on board almost 7 years ago, I gotta be honest, I was scared of you. I was scared. I had already heard rumors. And I know you cracked that whip and you want everything done the right way, the straight way, and it's Cora's way. And there's nothing else right but Cora's way. But you know what? I have seen you. I've been lucky enough to have you work side by side. I've seen what you've done with my wife's organization and getting involved with them. I've seen what you've done in the PAL program, and it truly humbles me on everything you do. I have no clue how you have so much energy, but I know you do it with a passion. I've been here through your downtime, the loss of your son, but I've also seen you raise your grandson now, and you're raising him just like you raised your son, and he'll be a great asset to anything, any city, any department he decides to go to, and but I'm sure that we are all going to miss you, because you're tough with us, but we know it's in love. so being one of the rookies here compared to these guys here, but you have made a difference in my life. You've impacted my family, so I really appreciate that. You've impacted the kids in this community, which I really care about, and I want to see them get out and be successful. And they're not going to be successful if it's not people like you guiding them and helping them. So truly, I'm thankful, I'm humbled to have worked alongside you, and I look forward to everybody else here telling some great stories about you. And I look forward to, see, they're already crying a little bit because they just can't take it. You're tough. You're tough. And by the way, you did, when my wife and I went to Switzerland, Cora was one person to tell my wife where to go shopping, where to find a nice person, and so forth. So by the way, I know you get this big drop check coming your way and stuff. I could use a couple $1,000 if it costs me. But anyways, Cora, thank you so much. Love you, appreciate you, and I look forward to hearing all the great things that you do in the future, because this is just another season in your life coming up.
That's right.
So enjoy that season. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Well, what's up, boo?
What's up, honey?
Well, I was going to say you guys need to get used to that, to the new people, but hey, you know what? That's going to be one of the stories that you're going to hear from time on, from this time on, because it's going to live in these walls. Cora's been 28 years. We've worked our entire career together, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Every time that I've been involved, and I was fortunate enough to either go on calls with you, it's, you know, they were very comical, and you know, we had a very good time. And a lot of people went to jail. A lot of people went to jail. Just to let you know, so when we were in the old station, Cora had Zone 5, which was Washington Park, and as soon as we cleared roll call, as she's getting her car ready, a call will go out. So her number was 387 back then.
387.
And she'd get on and she'd reference the call. She'd say, 387 reference? Go ahead and hold that for me. And then as we're sitting there, actually James would be there talking, we're all talking, getting ready to drive out. And she'll say, hey, I'll be back. They're acting up, I gotta go take care of this. She'll take the call, she'll go down there, and as she takes an arrival, you'll hear, they'll try to raise her. She'll get on and say in a calm voice, ma'am, can you hold the air? At that time, you hear some big grown man screaming in the background. And she's saying, hey, ma'am, just calmly hold the air for me, please. Hold the air. She holds the air. 2 minutes later, she gets on and she says, can you have somebody go to the station and bring the 39 van? I got 5 to go. So she would constantly go down there and just take care of business, and everybody knew who Cora was when she went down to Washington Park. The biggest thing that you've left here in these walls is the great work that you've done, not only here as an officer, but as a detective, but all the people that you've touched. And it's been absolutely, and I'm emotional too, especially in this situation here, because again, we worked so long together, and you know, your greatness and commitment to this profession didn't stop with these walls and these doors. Because it went out into the street. And not only in the street with how you did your job, but with every child that you've come across and you've touched, either in the street, in the PAL program, or across Florida and Georgia. And the reason why I say that, because Cora, a lot of you don't know, even guys that are here now, you don't know that Cora is very instrumental in the preventing crime in the community conference that goes on. And we bring a lot of underprivileged kids from all over in different conferences. And it's absolutely amazing. If I had $1 for every single time that I saw some kid that I've never seen before in my life run up and say, Miss Cora, and give her a hug, I'd be a millionaire 10 times over. Because she's known and well loved and respected, not only here in the streets of the city of North Miami Beach with the kids and the families, but all over the state. Because she takes the phone calls, she takes the time, and she reaches out and she helps everybody. Your heart is as big as this building. I thank you. I thank you for all the great times, all the great support, because you come by and check on me as I would check on you, and I thank you and I love you for that. And I wish you all the best and anything that you plan to do from this point forward. I love you, and I know I don't have to say this, but I'm going to say it. You know, I'll always be there for you, and I'm forever your friend, and thank you for being who you are, the true professional, the great woman that you are, and how you've put yourself and committed yourself to making this world a better place. We need more people like you, and I hope that all the new people that are coming on, that you guys understand the type of legacy. Your name doesn't have to be on a building, you know. You don't have to. Your name doesn't have to be on a program. It's every time you sit there and you touch someone's heart, or you're able to help somebody for that 1 minute, okay, or you're compassionate enough to understand what they're going through and you help them. You may not think it's anything, but when they feel it's something, it makes a difference, okay? And it's paid for 10 times over. Well, I tell you what, it's for millions times over coming from this woman right here. So Cora, thank you so much for being you. Congratulations on your retirement, and we love you. You'll always be there.
All right, so I gave her napkins because this is going to be tough on her. It's going to be tough on me as well. I've known Cora like the deputy chief for 24 years. My 24 years when I first started here, I worked midnights for a couple of years. And I would always happen to be Cora's backup. And it was always something. Whether it was a use of force, or somebody leaving the club, or just complete foolishness. It was always something, and I have to tell you, it was always right before we 06. And I remember standing in the holding cell room with Cora, sitting next to her while she's writing her A form, and I'd be like, oh my God, I just want to go home, I'm so tired. And then Cora would be looking at me, and she'd be like, Lou, give me another one, I need to redo this. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I also remember being on FTO when we would go eat at IHOP, 11 in North Miami Beach Boulevard, and every time I was on FTO, every time a priority call came out, I remember Cora would say to my FTO, Rand, get out there, handle that. And I'm like, you know, and she would sit there eating and she'd watch me get up, but by the time I got there, she was there. She was there. She was there, and she was already getting the whole situation under control. Moving years later, I came up to the bureau and Cora was there again. We spent 10 years together in the detective bureau. The one thing that I remember about Cora the most is Cora and I share a special bond, right? I lost a son at 9 months, and Cora lost her son. And if you want to talk about a person who has come through hell, and when I say hell, I mean the hottest of fires, and this woman has stood strong to raise her grandchildren while she was committed to this city and this agency and never missed a beat. When I was down and out and I was depressed because I lost my son, Cora inspired me to get out of bed every morning and come to work. When I would come to work and I would hear Cora's voice, I knew that everything was going to be okay. When I got those texts from Cora that said, Rich, you gotta pray. You gotta thank God that He's giving you life. And I would think to myself, who am I to complain? Because I was standing next to Cora and I was standing next to Mikey when he took his last breath. I was there with Cora. And I can tell you that no matter what, ever since that day and way before that, this woman is the strongest person I have ever met in my life. I can't even... And the reason is because she has faith. Because she has faith, because she does the right thing, and she does the right thing especially when nobody's looking. And that's integrity. And that's why I respect Cora so much. I trust her with my life. I took her, one of her children, it was Renee's kids. I took them to an air show. And they still now, to this day, they still haven't stopped talking about it with me. And that's how close of a family we all are. And I've gone with Cora on trips. I've gone to Cora's house, you know, not very... Get your minds out of the gutter. I know Cora's sister, Peaches. I know Cora's family. And I can tell you that, you know, you will never come in contact with another person like Cora for the rest of your life. Cora is beyond best. Cora is the closest thing to faith that I have ever seen. So I'm just wishing Cora the best of luck. She's done a phenomenal job at the Bureau. Her cases are top notch. I knew that when Cora was on call, when I was sleeping, that I didn't have to worry, right? Because everybody knows that I worry a little bit. And Cora, I didn't have to worry with Cora. So Cora, with that said, I think I've said enough. But the Detective Bureau, Investigation Bureau wants to present this award to you from all of us upstairs And I'm shaking because you got me nervous. Detective Cora Lee Mann, in appreciation for your 20 plus years and hard work and dedication, the City of North Miami Beach Investigations Division wishes you, Sergeant Mann. A long, happy, and healthy retirement. You deserve the best for it. You gave it your heart, you gave it your soul. God will take care of you now, and God will return everything back to you that you gave to us.
Attention all units. Attention all units. After 28 years of committed and prestigious service to the City of North Miami Beach Police Department and the residents of Miami-Dade County as a whole, Detective Cora Lee Mann will be retiring today, July 30th, 2020. A hero in her own right, Detective Mann served her country in the United States Army from 1980 to 1986. From there, her travels brought her to the city of North Miami Beach, beginning as a road patrol unit on October 29th, 1992. Cora thrived on a professional level while also serving the community as a crime prevention officer, DARE program mentor, Explorer advisor, honor guard member, and public information officer. She is also a role model, providing leadership and guidance to young women and adolescents in the area, volunteering her time to the Police Athletic League and cheerleading squad. Dedicating her life to the advocacy of women and children welfare, Detective Mann is continuously involved in assisting with faith-based shelter programs and serving the last 12 years as the reigning Mistress of Ceremony in the annual Domestic Violence Awareness Walks. Throughout Cora's tenure with the City of North Miami Beach Police Department, she has been honored with numerous accolades, to include Investigative Excellence, Meritorious Service, Team Awards, Distinguished Service, Outstanding Volunteerism, and ultimately, the Chief's Special Recognition Award. Although her career is remarkable, it will never compare to her selflessness, love, and dedication to her community and fellow officers. Detective Cora Lee Mann has exuded strength, perseverance, and grace as a dedicated officer, mother, grandmother, and friend. Detective Cora Lee Mann, your warm heart, hard work, and dedication were a godsend to this agency, and you will be sorely missed. Detective Cora Lee Mann, unit number 687-0906.
We love you, Cora. We're going to miss you. Have a good time.
We love you, everyone. Love you, Cora. Gonna miss you. God bless you.
Cora, I love you. I'm going to miss you a lot, and I wish you the best, and may God be with you all.